Meeting of the Sherman County Commission will come to order. Steve is absent today, so public comment is open for 15 minutes. And we'll sign checks.
How's it going out there?
Good.
Good. I know they were putting water in the smoke again. How much did it go up
Oh, probably a foot,
in there?
because I haven't paid that much attention, but probably a foot.
I know they went out there and sprayed for,
Yeah, we gotta go back out and do it again too. Stuff is just growing way too fast. And I think we may end up having to try some granular
in there.
as well.
That stuff that we want to put in there is called Soloflex. What's tries to
Soil flock.
Soloflock.
Yep.
I did go out there the other day. It looks pretty nice out there. There's some
Yeah.
people out there fishing.
Yeah. I think they had a wedding up there this week.
Did they?
I think.
Cool.
I know Rod started pumping on Friday, and he said he was gonna shut it off yesterday because he wouldn't be around to watch it. So we
They were
may,
running this morning.
it wasn't running again? Okay, maybe he didn't shut it down. He might have went out and looked at it and decided to leave it run.
Gonna mess that up.
It's not messed up if we got it right.
That's right.
I will make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Amount of 137, 241, 48, and 1,500. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, motion carries. Put some mail. Guess we got some calendars here from the National Association of Counties.
This is the meeting notes, minutes throughout the High Plains.
We have fire board minutes. Okay, we have a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners, Sherman County, concerning the scheduled meetings of Sherman County and the Board of County Commissioners. Whereas the Sherman County Board of Commissioners find it necessary to alter the schedule of regular scheduled meetings of the board, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners currently meets on the second and third Monday of each month and the last working day of each month. And whereas the county commissioners desire to alter the schedule of regular scheduled business meetings, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners hereby set the following days for regular scheduled business meetings for the Board of County Commissioners: the second Monday of each month and the last working day of each month. Whereas this resolution shall take effect beginning the second Monday of May 2023, beginning May 8 of 2023. Did you get a chance to?
Yeah, I looked at it on it.
Okay.
I just had, so in your opinion, since you've been doing this a lot longer than me, I know that third meeting is usually the shorter meeting, so we can do their business from 2. And we always have the right to call a special meeting if need be, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, anything comes up in between, we can call a special meeting. Not a problem. Ashley, you're comfortable with 2 meetings? Okay. I will then make a motion to adopt resolution 23-7.
Second.
23-7. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We also have here a request for board appointment for Northwest Kansas Juvenile Services. Judge Showalter has expressed interest in continuing to serve on the Northwest Kansas Juvenile Services and Adult Correction Governing Board. This is stating, please either vote for Judge Showalter or appoint another individual to represent Sherman County on the board.
I'll move that we vote for Showalter.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Just required one signature. No,
I need to know.
that one's for him, or I think it might be for him. This is for North Central Regional Planning Commission. It has to do with Homeland Security funding. Eric, do you know anything about this?
Just a little bit. If I understand right, the region approved for basically a security testing program for, I think it says PSAP, but basically 911 centers. And so it's just an opportunity to have somebody else audit or grade how we're doing and possibly give us a list of items that we can work to improve on to increase the security of our network infrastructure for the dispatch center.
Okay. Well, I see Chrissy's signed it, so she must feel like it's worthwhile. And it is purely voluntary. I would make a motion that we adopt this testing program for North Central Regional Planning Commission.
We'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Take a look at it. Did you have a chance to go over the minutes?
Yes, I did. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Right, this will be a special meeting minutes of April 12th and regular meeting April 17th. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. Let's see on that. Helen, batter up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, all right, pretty good.
Yeah. I just wanted to come in and give you kind of an annual update about what the Land and Sky Scenic Byway is doing. As you'll recall, and I don't know how familiar you are with it, but the Land and Sky Scenic Byway is 88 miles, beginning in Sharon Springs at the intersection of 27 and Highway 40, and goes up to the Kansas-Nebraska state line. And it is the only agricultural themed byway in the nation. When we were setting up, we decided that we have a lot of agriculture. We really need to promote it to the public, so that's what we've done. We are required to participate in quarterly meetings with the state as well as the annual meeting, and so we've complied with that. We've also completed an annual report saying what we did and projections for 2023 with the state. And then things we've done is we had a booth at the state fair and the Export Kansas Festival, which went over very well. We try to make it different each time. And so this last year, what we did was I had like beans from 21st Century Bean and oil from Right Sunflower and some other products. One of the things that they also produce at Right Sunflower Oil is the byproduct is goat treats. And so we had a lot of kids come in who had goats at the fair that I was able to, give them the goat treats. It was interesting on 21st Century Bean to find that a lot of the public felt that all of our pinto beans came from Texas. So that was an educational thing. And then if you've been to any of our kiosks or anything, you'll see that we've got these signage up of the life cycle of the crops. And so we had these displayed, and a lot of people came in, like parents and grandparents came in with their children and picked these up and went through them with the kids. So that was a real good educational thing, and I think we'll continue to use that one in our booths and stuff. We did order a cover for the signage, 27 in Road B, which is just across the Sherman County line in Cheyenne County. We're waiting for the carpentry department at the college to install it. They've been kind of tied up with their tiny house that they're building. So anyway, we're working on that. I'm continuing to work with the state on locations so we can place signage at the entrance to Smoky Gardens and also off of 27 going to Mount Sunflower. The latest communication is they wanted to know who was going to pay for this, and we told them what we wanted the state to do was if they could do the dirt work as they widen the shoulders or before, then that we would pay for the rest of it. We've got some of the signage with the life cycle of the crops we've already completed. We'll need probably 6 of the larger signs to put in there and then the top. And we're probably looking about, I'm going to say with prices rising, probably about $60,000 for those 2 projects, which we're hoping to, once we get the okay, is to go out and raise some funds, from that. Right now, we kind of have an ongoing fundraiser. We did, and I'll give these to you if you don't have one.
Thank you.
Oops. When we first started the byway, we had a donor that gave us some funds, and we had the pins, and so these are being sold at various places for $4, and that brings in $300 or $400 a year. And then if we get a chance to do an event like Bike Across Kansas or something like that where we can raise some additional funds, we've done that. But anyway, we'll see kind of where the state comes up with giving the approval for those locations. The one to Mount Sunflower is not going to need a lot of work. I don't think Smoky Gardens probably will because of the the culverts and things out there, but we really want that to happen, and so we keep talking to them and pushing them. But we also have a situation where we get a lot of turnover at the state with KDOT, so we'll see how that goes.
Ashley, is that, just a question, is that anything that would fit into ARPA funding if we were to say donate some ARPA funds to get some of that done?
You can use ARPA funds for whatever, so.
Okay, but we'd have to wait till the next cycle? Or do we still have some?
Let me look while we're talking.
Could be a good use to
Yeah.
it. Yes. This byway does help people, actually, people stay here in Goodland a lot,
Mhm.
travel that byway, so it's a benefit to our
Mhm.
county for sure.
Just a
Anyway,
thought.
and then we have the signage that we have. If you're not familiar with it, there's a kiosk in Goodland, which is over at 24 and 27. There's the 3 signs at Road B in Cheyenne County, and then up close to the Nebraska-Kansas line is one up there, and then we share one with Western Vistas Byway in Sharon Springs. And there's an additional sign overlooking the Irriquary Breaks, and the reason for that is. The reason we have the byway is because of the Rickery Breaks. Ward Cassidy, when he was our representative, brought Governor Brownback out to the Rickery Breaks, which entailed a bunch of conversations going on. You guys need a byway. And those of us that are in the industry decided that it needed to be 3 counties. So
Sure.
that's why that one's up there. We have a fairly new director for the byways, and so she has a lot of running around to do, like checking the signs and wanting to know what mile markers things are on and stuff like that. So we've done a lot of running around to do that. We also are members of the Northwest Kansas Travel Council and attend those monthly meetings, which are, throughout the counties that are members. The benefit to that is that we have our information out in those counties. So if somebody inquires, they can get it. And our brochures are also at any of the sports shows they do. Last year they did earlier this year, one in Omaha and one in Denver. And those are really beneficial. And our dues for that are $50. So it's a good bang for our buck. We also had a special with the Kansas Industry Association for Tourism. And so that was $50. We joined them, and they put a nice newsletter out that thanked us for joining, and we got our logo in there. And that was a good thing to do. We are doing a showcase at the Goodden Travel Information Center starting the 1st through the 7th. And I'm taking things up there when I leave here for that. And there's just a lot of traffic in there. And everyone that works there really does a very good job of promoting not just the Land and Sky Scenic Byway, but all of the byways, all of the communities in Kansas. And, people can stop there and go to the restroom and get a cup of coffee. And everyone that works there is pretty familiar with what is going on. And because Sherman County is in a different time zone, I think that when it comes to people coming in later in the day, I think that Sherman County probably gets a little more than somebody else, maybe because a lot of things are closed further down the road.
That's true.
And so we submitted just information for the Ultimate Guide, as well as a new Travel Council website, which they did. We also applied for a grant from the Cheyenne County Kansas Community Foundation to help us with our brochure. And we received $1,750 for that. I don't know, Steve picked up a box of these. I don't know if you have seen them or not. But this is a new brochure. Most of what's in there is agriculture.
Okay.
And because that's what we really want to push. On the back portion of it is a list of the activities or things to do in the counties. And so we're also redoing our website. So when we do that, we'll have more details about what there is to do, the lodging, the dining, and kind of the details of what else we offer in our communities besides the agriculture. But we really wanted to push the agriculture on this one. And those are in both of the state travel information centers, the one in Goodland and Belle Plaine, as well as 27 community-owned travel information places. We're also sending them to our senators and representatives in Washington, D.C. For display in their offices because we feel that they need to be familiar with us, even if maybe they don't come out here. Senator Moran has really been good about displaying our brochures and stuff. We did produce 5,500 of those, and we're thinking that they will probably last about 2 years. We don't want to go much longer than that because we have a lot of changes and things.
Sure.
We also, in the, not this last travel council meeting, but the one before, we had a presentation from members of the State Tourism Board and talked to us about doing a Skyride sponsor. And so this is, I don't know if you're familiar with Skyride at the State Fair, but so we signed up to do our logo and information in the back of one of these rides. And there's 72 of them that run 10 days during the State Fair. And then we're also going to do, they've changed the location of the Explore Kansas Festival, and it will now be in an air-conditioned building, thank goodness. And so we will be doing another 2 days down there, just promoting the area and talking about what's going on. I think we'll add a new product this year. My farms in Wallace County produces grain that is made into flour, which is in Kansas. So we'll probably have their flour on display as well as 21st Century Bean and whoever else wants to have something on display there. But I think it's really good to have our products there. I know when I had a sunflower head, I think a lot of people know what a sunflower is. They know what sunflower seeds are, but the touchy-feely, and even adults would come and take the seeds out of the head and put them back in. So, I think we're making progress. It's an ongoing thing that's going to last forever, we hope. And at some point, we just hope to start doing some actual tours of the byway. But right now, we're still kind of, we're in the infant stage. We've been here for a while, but just want to keep it up and keep promoting it, promoting the area, and getting people to come in and see what there is.
Good.
I don't know if you have any questions on anything we're doing.
Back to the Smoky Road sign and Mount Sunflower.
Mhm.
Okay, you're saying the total cost for all the dirt work, the signage and everything is $60,000?
Not the dirt work.
That's more.
That's why I
more
want
than
the
that.
state to do it. It's on their property.
Yes.
And because it's a state program, I would like for them to have some skin in the game.
Sure. Well, keep
And-
us posted
Yeah,
on that.
and we've got, like I said, we've got the life cycle of the crops. We've got that signage for both of those locations. We've already paid for that. So we'll put 3 at each one of those locations. It talks more, like at the Smoky, about the water and the history of the water and things like that.
Okay.
The top that we bought for the other signage was $20,000. And so we're looking, down the road, that's 40. And so I'm just thinking, well,
Okay.
and I don't know what the college is going to end up charging to do it. Instructor thought maybe they could do it in a couple days. I'm not sure if that's going to get done before school's out this year because they're finishing up their other project. Or if that doesn't work, we thought maybe we could find some volunteers or someone who would do it at a nominal fee.
Why don't you kind of get Ashley a scope of work, what we're just talking about,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an itemized, this, we're going to need this, and this, and
Uh-huh.
what's going to cost.
Okay,
And then when the commissioner ever gets back, we can talk about it some more.
okay. And the big thing is the permission from the state to do it on their property.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so we're doing.
But you're right, they should have some skin in the game,
Yeah.
for sure.
The other thing is that on our plan for the byway, we have a spot each year for a county commissioner. And Steve has been appointed for last year, and we would like for an official appointment from this board for someone. And we usually, when we meet, it's usually the third Tuesday of the month. We try to meet every month, but not always if nothing's going on.
Right.
So, and then several years ago, we approached all three boards of county commissioners and asked that you make a permanent commitment to the byway, $1 per capita per person. And so I have an invoice. In the past, you've paid $6,000, but you can use whichever one of these you want. The population was 5,927.
Okay.
So. But we really appreciate your continued support. It's really helped us to do our projects and use some of the monies as matching funds and then like to pay the other expenses. So.
Well, I'd make a motion to definitely pay this amount,
The 6,000.
the 6,000.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Well, thank you for your continued support. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to get hold of us.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So anytime we're gonna be mailing something out or doing a certain phase that I think you guys might get phone calls on, I will try to keep you in the loop. Monday is the day that we'll be mailing our personal property final renditions and our oil and gas. So personal property consists of mobile homes, trailers, heavy trucks, watercraft, a whole bunch of different items, golf carts, UTVs. So on May 1st, we'll be sending out the value notice of what the values are to everybody that has one of those items. And they have until May 15th to let us know if they see something on there that maybe they've sold, or a lot of that stuff can be prorated now, where in years past, it seems like every year more items are able to be prorated on and off the tax roll, where a lot of them were January 1 items before. So that's a time frame. If you guys get phone calls on that, make sure they give us a call before May 15th, which that day's on the notice. So that if there's any changes, we can get them done before there's tax dollars assigned to it. Oil and gas, we have mostly, I think we have 237 gas wells and around 10 oil wells. So those operators all, they provide us the information and we have a guide that we follow on that. So they have the same guidelines to let us know by the May 15th deadline. So just in case you get some calls on those kind of things. We're also, so today I should have one more real estate informal hearing, and he's supposed to come in this morning. So have all those done. I have to have all those result letters out by May 20th. So should have all those assigned. It's looking as of right now that overall it looks like our personal property, oil and gas and real estate values are up from last year. So just as probably most of the people that come in about their values, they're not really concerned about their appraised value so much, but their taxes. So always, so you might get some calls about that. And I feel like you guys do a good job keeping your budgets in check, but just as a reminder of what people say to me, taxes is the thing that they're concerned about. So when you're working on budgets, just keep that in mind.
Yep.
We're going to be starting reinspection, and what that is so some of this I know Rod hears me every year, but since you're new, I want to make sure you understand what it is we do. So every year we're required to go out and reinspect 1/6 of all the properties in the county. So anything that we did 6 years ago is what we're doing this year, and we are required to go out or check our measurements, and we check the physical condition. If it's ag land, we're checking the use to see if it's dry land, grass, irrigation, see if those kind of things have changed. We're obviously going to be in our little white pickup. We have a badge that identifies who we are. If it's a house or, somebody's going to be like living there or something, we knock on the door. If no one's there, we leave a door hanger, kind of explaining what we're doing and ask for information. And if no one's there, then we go ahead and measure as best we can. We're also a lot of people think that we're just doing that to raise their values, and that's not true. A lot of what we're doing is, Kansas weather in 6 years, you don't know what's going to happen. So a lot of times we see damage that wasn't there 6 years ago if it hasn't been fixed. So especially on outbuildings, a lot of those, the physical condition has changed. So we want to make sure that we have our data in accordance with what the property exists. We also go out, we have quite a few building permits that we do. We have quite a few neighborhood revitalization projects we got going on. So that's always
Is there
good.
quite a few participants?
Yeah.
still?
Yep, still. Not, I would say, not like big projects that some of those are coming off, more of the residential side of things right now, but I have quite a few commercial ones that people have called about. They're not ready to start their projects yet, just getting the paperwork and want to know how the process works and all that good stuff. Let me see, I think that's all I have for you guys.
Good.
But as always, if you have any questions, let us know. And if you get any phone calls, just have them call us. So we can't help them. We can't fix their problem if we don't know about it.
That's
So
exactly right.
I've had people tell me, well, I called my commissioners and told them I sold my truck. And I said, well, you guys are great at what you do down here,
Don't
but
call.
you don't know how to do anything with the truck.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
So it's best to get things, and we want everything taken care of now. So we certify all of our values to the clerk's office by June 1. And then, she certifies them to the state, and then you guys do your budgets, and then the mill levy set. So anything we can get taken care of now before tax, because when you guys do the mill levy, every dollar that's set for that mill levy is spoken for. You guys can't, just have this extra money. So we want everything taken care of now if we can, so they're not waiting until they get their tax bill letting us know, hey, I sold my boat, and then we have to do an abatement, and so then somebody's going to get shorted money. So anybody that we can take care of now, we want to get them done now.
So May 15th.
May 15th, yeah.
Got it.
So if you get your personal property rendition and you look at it and you have any questions about your value, or if you're like, hey, I don't, and we have had, we have a new personal property clerk that is really good at what she does, and she has found a lot of changes on things. So, and we also did put a letter in with our notice this year that said, maybe we mail out a list of what we know you have as of January 1. And we have found there are some items that weren't on there at that time. So we have added some stuff, and we didn't, as a courtesy, we did not add a penalty to those items. So even though personal property is self-reporting, if we discover that an item is not been, it should have a penalty, but we felt like we're getting personal property really cleaned up this year and getting it working well. So, we put a letter in there saying, hey, look this over really close. And if people haven't filed their personal property, there's a 5% penalty every month that they haven't filed, up to 50%. And so hopefully those people that forgot to file will let us know so we can get those penalties reduced. And I think the state is working on reducing those penalties. I know the governor's been vetoing a lot of bills, and I don't know, there's been a lot of them that have been combined, so I haven't noticed yet if that was one that she actually approved or not. But so those penalties might change, but as of right now, they're 5% per month, up to 50%. So, and it doesn't sound like much, but it adds up fast. So,
Yep.
And we don't want anybody to have a penalty. We want them all to be in on time, and that way too we can get the information accurate if they've turned it in. So, okay. Well, if you have any questions, let me know,
All
and
right.
have a good day.
You too. Appreciate it. Topside Manor. You waiting on more?
Jennifer abandoned us today.
Really?
That was on her own.
Wow. Must have been a rough meeting because,
Are you ready for us?
yeah, we're ready. We're as ready as we're gonna get.
You're one short today.
Yep, Steve abandoned us, see?
That's going good.
He abandoned you.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it so far.
You left me.
That might be good.
You got support.
Well, we'll see.
I always worry about.
We'll
that guy
see.
over there, though.
So what can we do for you
Well,
today?
we're just here we just want to, we think,
You've
we need to
been,
come in and see you guys a couple times a year, let you know what's
you've
going
been
on.
missing.
Ron missed us last time, so.
And I missed last time.
Yeah.
I missed last time. I think I was chasing a cat around or something. You know, I think the rest of them, topside's going wonderful. I mean, I think, of course, you can't please everybody. You know, you can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time. But by and large, I think things are going good. Hear a lot of good comments. And well, we want to talk to you about an issue today. And we're going to need you guys' help sometime. It's on agency staffing is a budget breaker. And I think it's going to kill rural health care in Kansas if we don't, you know, have some help. The governor's trying to do some things with expanding Medicaid, you know, so, and I think that's going to be important. And I think if you guys can talk to our legislators, you know, we need to do that. But this agency staffing thing it's got, I mean, it's just tough.
I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but Gove County is closing theirs down.
Correct.
And it's due to agency staffing.
Yep.
Wallace County got killed down there because of agency staffing. I think there's been, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 rest homes in the state of Kansas are closing down. I think the biggest thing is agency staffing is just killing them. Now, we're hanging in there, but and supposedly we were told yesterday that we are going to get a little extra help on Medicaid. But our facility runs, like right now, we're at 52% Medicaid, about 46 private pay, and the rest are Medicare.
And our private pay is basically running the same rate as the Medicare.
Okay.
So we're not trying to jack up the private pay.
Right. I'm not trying to make up for shortfalls for everything else.
Some of the problem is like that staffing. Anytime you get a staff nurse or even a CNA, you're paying double
Yeah.
what if you had your own.
Yes.
So, double. Last month we had, 160,000 we paid to agencies?
And we found out yesterday that you're an agency staff person and you work 40 hours in Colby. We said we need you on Friday or Saturday. Guess what? You're now an overtime rate.
Right.
You work one day in Goodland, but you're paid the overtime rate.
Yep.
So not only are you getting double what we would normally get, now you're time and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it tough for the bottom line. And
Well, there's no control on them staffing agencies. I mean, we need them. Even
There needs to be
everything's
there needs to be some
I imagine the
oversight.
gentleman back here is having the same problem occasionally, don't you, Craig?
Is there any
Probably
way that
online
you can
numbers
do
there.
anything differently to compete with those agencies?
What?
Is there anything that you can do to compete a little bit
Well,
better with those agencies?
We took steps here, was it 2 months ago? We went in and you know, we talked to our staff and we actually gave everybody a raise. And, you know, because I mean, basically they're doing a wonderful job and need a raise anyway, but we need to be more competitive. But we're telling them, you know, help us get more people recruited. We're trying to get more. Kim, our administrator, has done a fabulous job of getting people in, you know, finding new help and doing those things. And we need to grow our own.
She's found,
Yeah.
filled two major positions that are higher dollar that we were paying a real high amount, and she's filled two of those that we're now going to pay at our rate.
Yeah.
So that's hasn't taken effect yet. So we're still fighting but we've made some strides and made some changes, but those changes don't happen overnight. And I guess that's kind of what we're here for is, with all that's going on, that bottom line hasn't been real good. And we have money, right, to cut the time, but the trend is not going the right direction, right, Ron?
Yeah. So, I mean, we might need some help in the future. I hope not. We hope they get turned. I mean, and we're on budget on everything else except this agency staffing. Just every month, it just don't make us go over our budget. So
Somehow, some way, there needs to be oversight on what they can charge.
Well,
I don't know if they'll change that, but I
It's
mean,
a
it's something.
private business, so
Yeah,
you can't dictate private business as such, but hopefully there's some things we could legislatively do, but right now that's not an option, so we're trying to deal with it the best we can.
So I think Medicaid and Medicare, they know exactly about what we need to break even, and that's all they're gonna give us. You know,
Sure.
I think they know,
Oh, yeah.
but they have not factored in rural Kansas, we've got to have this agency staffing, and that is so much higher than what our other, and
Yep.
and that's what's getting us. And so we want to come in and talk to you early. I mean, we don't need money today or tomorrow, but you know, if there's going to be an issue, it's coming from that.
This isn't gonna go away. It's not gonna get better.
No, I mean, it might get better, but it ain't gonna go.
Well,
away.
it can get better if you get the right people hired and get them on
And
staff.
we're working on that.
Yeah.
But that's hard. You know,
That's
it's
a,
hard to do.
that's a,
She hired 2 nurses last week.
Well, that's good.
That's gonna be
So
good.
that's big there, but, cause
Okay, now,
everybody's
is it-
scarce around
The
here.
tech college has a CNA. Do they do that?
we actually,
Are you working with them? Or?
we are, and we've actually got a very good pipeline to our high school kids.
Yeah.
We've got 4 or 5 that are going to work this summer as CNAs, and so we've been very fortunate to have that avenue. That
Mhm.
obviously that's not a year-round deal, but it's nice to have it at least part of the year and gets us through.
That
the summer
really
months
won't
anyway.
show
Buys you
either.
some time too to find
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But it's just big, and we just want to come in and talk to you guys, kind of let you know what's happening. But I think the building's doing great. We're really happy with our administrator. The people we have employed, if they're good, but it's just good. We just need more people. We need more local people
Yep.
to fill those places, because it takes a lot of people to take care of people,
Yes, it does.
and it's a big concern in rural Kansas. We need some help. I mean, from the state or something, and I don't know how many people know about this agency staffing and how it affects healthcare. I'm sure the hospital has the same issue.
Sure. Imagine Wheat Ridge would too. Wheat Ridge
Yeah.
would have the same.
Yeah, they
problem.
don't be the same as far as health workers.
Home health may probably have the same problem.
And the last thing you
Yes.
want to do is get in the cycle where you start robbing from the
Yeah.
hospital and they rob
Well, that's the
from.
thing, we
I
all
mean,
need help, yeah.
everybo's in the same boat.
Yes, we all are. Already. But I think if
But we got 1 or 2 people who are living in the area, not going to Kansas, but in the area, who have now decided to go full time for us. So we're trying to recruit those people who were agency,
Yeah.
try and get them to come with us on a full time basis. And a couple have done so.
A lot of those people get wore down with the travel and they kind of look for a permanent.
Well, they don't have the benefits normally either that
Right.
full-time help does.
Right. Well, we're aware. We believe you. We
That's the main
understand.
thing, we just wanted to, we're, like I say, we got money still, but we probably, if it wouldn't have been for that COVID relief money, that we wouldn't be doing too good probably.
Right.
we've managed that well, and it's just, but you know, we can look at our budget sheets, and we can see that we can get pretty tight here in a couple of months. So
We just want to make sure the communication lines are open and make sure you guys are aware where we're at and what's going on. And if you have any questions anytime, let us know. But so if you hear rumors in the community, don't be afraid to call one of us up to find out for sure what's actually happened instead of taking the rumor mill.
Understand.
So
We know our community needs that.
Yeah.
there's a lot of
We know
things
that.
in the
We need to
community.
hear
We
it,
need the hospital behind us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we all rely on you guys to help us occasionally too. So we're doing what we can, but it's a challenge some days.
All right. Well, if I come up with some
It's a tough issue.
great,
We want to
great
give you guys a little
solution,
time to
I'll-
think about things. So
Yeah.
well, if you see your legislators, we got them close here. You need to talk about Medicaid in Kansas. I mean, we need to do something.
Yep.
So we really do need to do something. It's kind of a political football, and that's bad when we put, if we're going to affect rural healthcare over politics. Sometimes they all need to learn how to work together.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, I know. But still,
But back a few years ago, I had a daughter-in-law that was a nurse in Chattanooga, and the nurses was getting paid more out here than they were in Chattanooga.
Really.
Just that they're so hard to get. You have to
Mhm.
I mean, the cities, a lot of the cities have plenty. I mean, not now, I'm sure they don't, because everybody's short now, but
Right.
it's harder to get them to come out here.
So we just want to,
All right, guys.
well, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll think on that.
See ya.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
Go see Ashley, Ron.
Thank you, Ashley.
All yours, Craig.
See, there you
Hey,
go.
you did all right.
There you go. You got instant help
I mean, it's a
right
problem.
there.
It is. It is. You're wrong. Apparently can't
Come
spell.
on, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
You bet.
You can sit a minute, unless this, yeah. Basically, it's good to
You
do.
got a different microphone.
Yeah, that's new and improved.
This one picks up every little sneeze, huh?
I think it
Yeah, it's
does.
supposed to.
Well, just to add a little bit to those gentlemen that were here, that agency issue is across the board, and I'm not sure it's going to be resolved by just Medicaid, because it's the fact that, you know, if I can make 50% more by traveling,
Yeah.
and you're right, there's no benefits, but so you know, if we go down our line, I jump right to it. Our contract labor for the last month was 103,000. I think they said 130 is what they had paid out or something, and I get it. The only difference between the two is they have a lot heavier usage of CNAs, which is a little bit lower pay scale, and whereas we're required to have a lot more RNs, and so that's just statutory requirements, but it doesn't change the issue.
Right.
So for the month, I want just get a quick rundown of the finances. This is the end of our quarter, so the year-to-date numbers will be, you know, first quarter. So for the net patient revenue for the month, patient revenue is 3.4 million. Against a budget of 3.28, so we're a little bit ahead there. And then year-to-date, we're at 9.99, just shy of 10 million. Versus 9.86 budget. So we're pretty much right in line. That's just 1% ahead of our budget. However, when you look at the deductions, this is when the insurance companies get to say what they're really paying. Our adjustments, contractual adjustments this month were 1.89 million versus a budget of 1.5. So that's 300 plus, almost 400,000 above what we had budgeted. And that's something we really don't have much control over. So that's, take it, you know,
Take it. Yeah.
take it. I just got a notice yesterday from Blue Cross saying, here, we're adjusting this one pay code. Okay, thank you. But 1 out of 10,000 or so. And so we'll get a little bit more. These nursing dollars that, by the way, they were talking about, there was an article yesterday that I just read on the nationwide. California is only paying their nurses about 80 some odd dollars an hour. We're at 34 is the Kansas average, 34.01.
Mhm.
Tennessee that you referred to is kind of in the middle of the pack. So yeah, the wages are kind of crazy, and that's regular wages. That's not the agency. That's just what we pay. And I know we're struggling every time we just put an offer out to not a nurse but to a respiratory therapist this week, and they came back to us and said, well, that's a nice offer, but the hospital down the street is going to pay me $3 an hour more. So
To do the same work.
yeah. So of course that's crossing the border. Was Yuma actually was offering that, and Colorado wages are higher than Kansas wages.
Yeah.
So are the reimbursements on insurance higher in Colorado than they are in Kansas. So
By a lot.
by a lot.
I've heard that.
Yeah. When they're talking about the legislators, here's one that they really need to get to. We have no bargaining power in Kansas. The insurance companies tell us what they're going to pay every year. We get a pay sheet that says this is what we're paying this year. Whereas in most places, we get to charge our fees, and then they'll take a adjustment, a deduction of 10% discount or whatever.
Try to work with you a little bit.
Yeah. But they're, I know when I was in Colorado, they were trying to do the same thing. They were trying to put us all onto these fixed pay schedules. And frankly, Blue Cross Blue Shield right now in Kansas pays less than Medicare. So, if we're getting paid Medicare on our cost reimbursement, less they take the sequestration back, we're getting 99 cents on the dollar of approved dollars, not every dollar of cost. And so you're losing money there. And if we're getting less than Medicare from Blue Cross, you don't get to make it up on the commercial insurance like you usually do.
Right.
So anyway, bottom line, net income for this month before expenses was 1.5 million and versus a budget of 1.7, and year to date is 5 million versus 5.2. So we're just a little behind budget on that. And we go down to our expenses, and this is where I'm talking about before. Our salary is 571,000 for the month against a budget of 655. So you think, oh great, you're beating it, but then you go down to that next line of contract labor, we're 103 versus a budget of 68. So when you put the two together, we're just about breaking even on our budget.
Yeah.
Because we're having to pay those extra for the contract. And so I know one of the board members asked me, so what, you're not paying people? Is that why your salary numbers are almost? Because we don't have those positions filled. It's just in another bucket.
Exactly.
Just what the guys are talking about. Anyway, total operating expenses 1.5 million versus 1.68 budget, 4.7 for the year versus 5, so we're a little behind. But our total operating income, just the base operations for this month, we actually lost $30,000. Year to date, we're at 119,000 versus a budget of 37. So for the first quarter, we're actually doing quite well on the actual bottom line operating income. Then after that, we get the 340B income, the county appropriations, tax dollars, and so on of 171 total. It gives us a total net income for the month of 109,000. For the quarter, year to date, 482. That's versus a budget of 498. So still just a little bit behind budget on the bottom line of total net income. But again, we've talked about this before. Our what we're getting paid is not going up, but costs are. So, and we're in the process right now of doing a complete salary review, which was scheduled, was planned, it's budgeted for. So we're going to be seeing some pay jumps, which our people need, and we'll be doing that. The other thing that we're really focused on right now, before I jump off of the numbers, our total cash on hand, days cash is 266 days liquid, running an average daily expense of 52,900, which is down a little bit. It was around 55,000 earlier in the year. So we are controlling expenses, but
It's not getting any easier.
yeah, it's all right. Our revenue has been staying up, and that goes to our community. You heard them talk about how our community needs that part of healthcare, and we need all of our healthcare dollars. But that really is, people have a choice where they go get their healthcare. I mean, just like we talked about, people can travel to work. You can travel for healthcare too. And you can look, other than directly south, that's 60 miles. But otherwise, any direction, 30 miles, you're at another hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, it's the facts. We have, we're in our second year of our 3-year strategic plan. And so we have laid out our main 4 pillars of our strategic plan haven't changed from last year, but kind of the targeting, the working document, as you will, this is a living, breathing document. We've kind of modified and shifted a little bit as to our real focus under these pillars. So our first pillar is being led by our CFO, by Heather Prideaux, and it's strengthening and investing in core services. And the real markets we're focusing on is we're investing in staff. That's our number 1. Marketing and community investments. Looking at, again, you've heard me talk before about the community and the hospital needing to be one. We're going to work on growing our service lines, not only just on what we already are doing, but seeing if there's other things that we can add that our community needs. A lot of that's going to be through the specialty clinic. So, for example, this last month we met with a dermatology group a little further east, and talking to them, see if they'll be willing to come out this way. And they're facing the same issues. You know, to come out here, they said, I can get the doc out there, but I got to have the support staff to go with them. They're already traveling every day of the week, and put another day on them just doesn't work. And then finally, we're working on really trying to capital improvement, working on keeping our equipment up and current. We've had already this year a couple of upgrades and improvements on some of our internal Omnicell, which is our drug dispenser for patient safety and whatnot, and as well as our Pyxis unit, which is more for supplies. But those have both required us to have software upgrades. They're working just fine, but Microsoft announced they're no longer going to support the software side, so we get to spend another $80,000 for a new server. Isn't that fun?
Of course.
Yeah. Our second pillar, the patient-centered culture of quality and customer service, is being led by Amy Powell, our Chief Operating Officer and clinic administrator. And again, the focus there is going to be number one, patient education. Number two, are improving our customer service. Number three, streamlining our HR processes. You heard them talking about trying to, the wins of getting some success. We think that's a big piece. So looking at our benefits, looking at how we get people hired, some of the organizations in Colorado that we're aware of, for example, Centura has said they will have no more agency staff. Well, that's nice to say, but you still got to have people on board. But to do that, they are offering a $30,000 sign-on bonus. We can't quite afford that, but
No.
but we are looking at ways to help people get their education paid for. That we can help with, or through HRSA grants through the federal government. So. And then finally, working on improving our employee wellness, overall wellness. You've heard us talk about burnout. I heard you mention it just now that people do get tired, but we think that's an important part of having a successful organization, is keeping the people fresh and excited about their work.
Yep.
Our last pillar, or not our last, but our third pillar, is our cost structure, and we're really focusing on first our revenue cycle, on our retention and recruitment, staff again, and then the individuals and the departments taking ownership. We've talked about having accountability, and we're working on a phrase that I like to use called moving from accountability to ownership. You're different when you're an owner. I can be accountable for my work every day, but if it's my hospital, if it's my company, if it's my department, I'm going to take a lot more interest in it. So we're really working on developing that culture of ownership. And in effect, as a county hospital, we all pay our taxes. We all do have a little piece of ownership. We get right down to it. So, our final pillar, being led by Doc and Tara Bowles, is improving employee satisfaction and engagement scores. We run a series of surveys with our staff to see how we're doing and really focus on that. So a big part of that is our employee engagement, and Stephanie Wendt has been doing a great job leading our internal employee engagement group, and they take little tasks that they work on to help us. I mean, simple thing like last year they implemented something we should have been doing already, but simple rounding. Are the leaders of the organization, are the managers, are they getting around and talking to their people? Do they know what's going on in the other departments? So we're working on employee engagement, team building, professional growth. We've heard a lot of the employees express the concern that, I have this job, but where do I go from here? And so we want to make sure that they do have a career path. And so we're and then of course our mission, vision, values that we kind of put into place last year. So just a quick rundown of the things we're doing at the hospital.
Sounds good.
Now, one time we were gonna have a joint meeting with the hospital and the city and the county, and that has not been rescheduled yet, to my knowledge. Are we still looking at doing that?
I was informed that that was in the court of the city and the county. We're ready, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, city manager, when, called me to get it on the schedule and then called to cancel and said it was issues of scheduling between the city and the county. I don't know all the details, so. But,
What are you looking at as talking points? Where do we want to go with this?
I'm assuming you're referring specifically to the building.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's really looking at, first off, what are the needs?
Yep.
What are some of the options we have? A realistic picture of costs, timelines. I think those are things that we really need to get into. But as much as you want the community involved, because you do, the last thing you want is every member of the community saying, "Well, I need this piece and I need this piece," and pretty soon you don't have a real direction. So, I think we need to pretty quickly get to a committee, but they need to be maybe much like what you did for Topside Manor, but a committee that's really focused on letting those that are running the day-to-day business kind of lead out and giving the support and building the finances would be the big issue. And so that's probably going to be one of the main points. Well, how we pay for this? This is a county hospital. So it's not like I'm going to walk in as the CEO and say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. I don't really have that authority because it's county. We don't own anything. You know, I can't say, well, we're going to build this kind of a building and you don't have any say in it. That just goes nowhere. So we want to make sure that we're working together. But there are several financing options. You can use a revenue bond, which doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime. It's all from the operations of the hospital. And it obviously would put the hospital board and the hospital administration team in a much stronger financial position as far as calling the shots. But I don't think it really changes what we need. We still need to do what's best for the community. So, but that's just one of the methodologies. Another one is a general obligation bond, which is like what you've done for the Topside Manor. And that would be total taxpayer driven. That's probably at this point in time a non-starter. I would think. Just I don't know how you go back to the community right now and ask for another mill levy.
Exactly.
I know in a couple of years, I know the school,
Right.
a couple, and so that's coming off in a couple of years.
So one of the suggestions, and I've heard that already, Harvey, so one of the suggestions that I had personally is maybe you let the hospital get started with a revenue bond, and when some of these current dollars are freed up, you renew them back to then pay off the outstanding debt of the hospital.
Yeah.
And then you convert that revenue bond to a general obligation. General obligation bonds have generally a little bit lower interest rate because it's guaranteed by the full faith and credit of the governmental agency that's doing it.
Right.
Whereas a revenue bond, you only have is the revenue of that hospital. So if it's not making revenue, you don't have nothing to claim against. You can't put a mortgage on the hospital.
Right.
So that's the last project I did in Colorado. We did do a revenue bond, but even with that, the community was still saying when we did our grand opening, I'm going to go down and see what my tax dollars are buying. But the tax dollars weren't buying anything, but it was okay. It showed the community being involved, and that was important. So, but then those are the ways that the other one is that we simply cash flow it, and we don't have enough cash obviously to do that. We have enough to get a good start. Like I said, we've got 267 days, but that's a cushion. That's not it's cash is king in any business. You don't want to deplete your cash.
That's right. No. So that hospital's been in that situation many times, and that's not a place you want to go.
No, we don't want to deplete our cash. We've got these reserves for a reason.
When it's
to
gone,
get
it's
through these
gone.
difficult times like we are now, to be able to finance that equipment purchases that we need to do to keep us at, current and state of the art. So and I think those are some of the main talking points.
Makes sense.
So, and then I guess you've got a couple of hospital board positions you're going to have to be filling here in the next couple of months. So.
And we have Sanderson going off.
Yeah.
Who else is going?
Greg's up. I don't know what his plans are yet. So
I haven't heard anything from him, so.
I think those are the two. I don't know if Vicky and Dwayne are up this round or not. Because we had 3 the last round. It was Valerie and Sabrina and Patty.
This time it's Kevin and Greg.
Just the 2. Okay, that's what I thought. It was just the 2 of them. See, you have the one in the know right here.
Yeah.
I have
I
to call
agree.
and find out. So,
Well, Kevin's definitely not interested again, so I've had that talk with him, so.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Cool.
And one time, I don't think Greg was either, but I don't know now. And one time he was ready to get off.
he's been there a long time.
Yeah.
He's done a great job. He's been great to work with. As a CEO, that board can be a lifeline, or they can be
I'll make her
your worst nemesis. So,
Yeah,
and we've been very lucky to have
absolutely.
Greg's been in lockstep with us, and it's been really, really good to have that. And that's kind of what, as an administrator, I need. I need someone that's giving me that strategic direction of where I can go. I can do the day-to-day work, but I don't want to work in a blind. I want to have some direction. So
Gotta have
that's
direction.
helpful. And knowing that line where not to get into the weeds, because we have that problem too sometimes where board members want to say, well, why are you paying so to this? And you need, that's getting into the details that they don't really be into. So kind of look at it. They're the strategic planner. We run the day-to-day.
Sure.
And so
All right, well,
thanks for your support and help,
Thank you for
and we
coming.
will see you again, I guess, next month. But if you want to get a meeting put together, we're open, so, and ready. So
Okay.
We'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
very good. Thanks, Rick.
I might ask, what is the procedure that we follow to replace board members?
Well, first, if the current members want to express interest, that's usually the direction we go. If they want to be reappointed, otherwise we'll run an ad in the paper for a couple weeks at least, and go from there. See how many applicants we get.
Okay.
So, but I know we'll be putting an ad for at least one. Got anything for us today?
I do.
You do?
I need Steve's signature, but I need your approval on the amended petition for the tax sale. We got the title work completed. We added 41 interested parties on the 72 total parcels. Of that, we've had 15 that have been redeemed, and that has been 90 to 95,000 worth of back taxes and fees have been paid as part of that. One parcel that was dismissed because although it is taxed, it is a leasehold interest only. So they don't have, all we'd be forfeiting is that leasehold interest. I think it's a couple of grain bins on a piece of property. So, so before the notices have even gone out, to have almost $100,000 redeemed is good. I think just the knowing that something is going on forced at least 15 people to come in and get things taken care of. So, but as soon as Steve gets, if you approve, you've already approved it once, this just includes the 41 additional interested parties. I'll need his signature, and then we'll get that on file, and all the notices will then be sent out to everybody that we have addresses for that can find, and we'll let that process go through, and then we'll have to do the publication notice to those we can't find, which realistically will probably September, October by the time we get through all that and get to a sale.
Okay.
Do we have to approve that today, or You wanna wait till Steve gets back?
You can approve it today for Steve's signature, or we can do it again when he's here. I didn't know he wasn't gonna be here, but it is ready, so.
Well, I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve that for Steve's signature.
And I will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Whenever he gets back around, I'll get his signature, and get that on file, and start that process. We'll put the mail machine to good use.
Yep. Good deal.
That's all I got.
Simple enough. Anybody else got anything?
Landfill for city cleanup.
Okay.
You're gonna waive the fees again for the city.
Yes.
It's the 4th and the 5th. I just wanted to confirm that we were willing to do that.
I will make a motion to waive the fees for the landfill on the 4th and the 5th. Except for concrete.
I'm sorry.
Tires is concrete. And
I was talking to Rod the other day, and he had a concern about, they're getting more metal and wood put in dumpsters. And they've had to replace those nice on that compactor back there. And he would like somehow to figure out what we could do. Otherwise, he said, that's, every time we have to replace those blades, it's a $5,000 deal. And so
yeah,
if we're talking about increasing fees for out there, then we're gonna have to rather have cooperation from the city to try to see how they can help us eliminate some of that, or we may have to increase fees just for replacing the blades out there.
yeah.
So just to throw that in there,
There's got to be a little bit more enforcement.
and we don't have the manpower to get all that out all the time, and so and Rod told me it's worse now than he thinks it's ever been.
Okay.
So I think if we send a letter to the city commissioners and asking them to maybe put something in their billing to remind people not to put wood and metal into that might be a start, but if not.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have to cover that expense somehow.
Yep. That's true. Okay. Yeah, I mean, wheels turning, but I'm not getting anywhere. Okay. Definitely something we got to do about that.
And especially if we're talking about raising fees, if we're going to include that or not at this time.
Yeah. That's a hard thing, looking in every dumpster. I mean, it's especially the way that things are done now. It's all automated. You pull up to it, you dump.
You're almost gonna have to sort it when it gets to the landfill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
Which means we'll have to have more manpower.
Yep. Yeah. So you spend it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we'll talk to Rod. Maybe next time we'll see if we got any ideas. Yeah, definitely let the city know
If we
we've
can,
got a problem.
we have a problem, if we can somehow let the city know that. And see if they just send a letter out with their billings, maybe that would help. Reminding people not to put that stuff in the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Because it does tear up our machines out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
not waiving the fees. See, I think
Well-
that's not waiving the fees.
That's what
I don't know if they sort it. If the city sorts citywide cleanup stuff, like if one trailer is wood, one trailer is.
That's the way it used to be done when I was involved with it. That's how we did it. One guy went around with a trailer and he did nothing but metal and, but we're talking about stuff that's actually in the dumpsters already.
Yeah.
We didn't go through dumpsters on citywide cleanup.
Right. The two different issues.
Two different issues.
So what we're doing is waiving the fees for the city-wide cleanup.
Correct.
So I'd make a motion that we go ahead and do that
Okay.
for that event.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
And to reiterate, we're not taking tires. Was it concrete tires?
I have to look.
Yeah.
Same as last year.
Nothing's changed. Okay. All right. Anything else
I don't have anything.
for the good of the cause?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting